thicker blue right here.
Internal jugular.
Which one?
Internal jugular.
Internal jugular. And then this one?
External jugular.
External jugular. Artery and vein. Uh-huh. And in front of the ear, artery and vein.
Temporal.
Close.
It's superficial.
Superficial, temporal. And then artery and vein, right here.
Facial.
Mm-hmm. And the artery down here.
Internal.
Mhm. All of this is coming off of
Middle cerebral.
anterior cerebral. The blue up here,
Superior sagittal sinus.
and if there was one right here,
Inferior sagittal sinus.
inferior. And then this one here.
Straight.
Uh-huh. And the one going this way.
Transverse.
Okay. Done. What does transverse empty into?
Sigmoidal.
And sigmoid empties into internal jugular, which empties into brachiocephalic. So again, up here at the top, superior sagittal sinus, and then here, and then here,
Straight.
here, straight, and then on the sides here.
Transverse.
On the side here, if you follow transverse, then it starts to turn and go down, so at that point it becomes sigmoid. All the blue surrounding the top of the sphenoid, cavernous or cavernous sinus. Connecting cavernous to sigmoid are vessels that are shown in the book but not labeled, so they're not on your list, but they're petrosal sinuses. So you can see these blue ones down here. They go from here to here. There's one here, one over there. I guess that's it for this. Oh, yeah, arteries. So coming through the foramen magnum, vertebral, and then what do they form here in the midline?
Basilar.
And then the very end of basilar splits into posterior cerebral. And then these two coming up,
Internal carotid.
yeah, they're coming up through the carotid canal. And then the branch that comes off of the carotid that goes to the posterior cerebral.
Posterior communicating.
And then a branch that goes anterior along with the optic nerve through the optic canal.
Anterior.
Ophthalmic. So it's following the optic nerve into the eye.
So how would you put down the test? Because I know it's that little one.
Yeah, just try to get to that little tiny one. Get that one. Before it splits at the bottom here.
Common carotid.
And the branch that goes up through the skull. First branch off of external carotid right here.
Superior thyroid.
Second branch,
Lingual.
it's hard to follow, it goes down in here. The next branch,
Facial.
so it goes out, down, and then comes up around the mandible here. So here's facial. Maxillary is not on your list. So, the one that comes back here.
Occipital.
Okay. And then the very top of external carotid. So this is good for carotid and all of the external branches. I was hoping it would show ophthalmic, but not really. So this cut vessel on either side,
Internal carotid.
that is internal carotid. And then this one,
Middle cerebral.
so that allows you to see a lot more of middle cerebral. So those are all branches off middle cerebral. That'd be mine. And then this one and this one. Right, so that's usually where we see it end on the pictures, anterior cerebral. But then you can follow it around corpus callosum and then all those branches that come off. So we could, what else did we see it come out like that? Oh, the sagittal head model. What's next? Do I have...
There's a heart
There's
behind.
a heart right here.
Okay, how about the urinary? At the top, and branch that goes to the left. You had it first time. Mm-hmm. And then the branch that goes off to the right. Uh-huh. And then the branch that kind of comes straight out.
Left gastric.
Uh-huh. And then this vessel.
Superior mesenteric.
And this one.
Inferior mesenteric.
And this blue one.
Left gonadal.
Left gonadal. And blood in the left gonadal goes where?
Third.
Left renal vein. Yeah, right gonadal vein. That blood goes into inferior vein. Artery and vein here. Common iliac. And then inside the branches.
Internal iliac.
Not interior.
Internal.
Internal. And then when the internal comes off, then the rest of this becomes. And then when it comes out on the other side of the inguinal ligament,
Femoral.
femoral artery and vein. About the blue going up to here. Suprarenal vein. Here's a suprarenal artery. Suprarenal vein next to it. Common hepatic. But we have other models that show these branches much better. So I would use this maybe for celiac trunk, but not the branches. Any better. Heart, the big one.
There's one right behind you too.
You can leave the stand and just pull the heart up.
There you go.
Okay.
Next time too. That stuff that you did with me.
Right, posterior. These two. Yeah, a blue and a red. The big red
Common carotid.
and blue.
Internal jugular.
And blue over here and over
External
here.
jugular.
And red here and here.
Thyrocervical.
Uh-huh. And red here.
Subclavian.
And blue.
Subclavian vein.
And blue from here to here. Mm-hmm. And from here to here.
Right base.
And from here down.
Superior vena cava.
Okay.
Zygus.
The blue right under it.
Right pulmonary.
Uh-huh. And we're just kind of going quick, so we're leaving out left rights, but make sure on the exam you put left rights. These two?
Right pulmonary veins.
Pulmonary veins, yeah. And this?
Descending thoracic aorta.
Ascending's good, but thoracic's better. Because descending goes all the way down. If you say thoracic, we know you're talking about above the diaphragm. Blue?
Middle cardiac vein.
Blue?
Posterior cardiac vein.
And blue here.
Small cardiac vein.
And this?
Inferior vein.
And this?
Coronary sinus.
And the blue?
Great.
The red?
Ventricular.
Or LAD? The red here?
Right.
Coronary
Coronary
artery. Right coronary artery.
And here? The red here? And here? It's all right coronary artery.
Okay.
Yeah, so all the way around till you get to here, and then the branch that comes down,
Posterior interventricular.
and then the red that's coming around from the other side,
Circumflex.
circumflex.
Bless you.
Left coronary is really short. Because as soon as it gets to here, it splits, and then one branch goes down and the other goes around. So this is all circumflex over here. And then anterior, interventricular. Yeah, so you don't have much of a vein there, but here's the marginal artery. Right on the margin.
Let's go up there, right?
Right marginal. Off the right coronary.
Papillary muscle.
East.
That one was 5. Oh,
Chordae tendineae or tendinate. Which valve is this?
5.
Tricuspid.
Or
Mitral.
or
Mitral.
mitral bicuspid left AV. And then
Any
here,
of those chordae tendineae.
tricuspid or right AV. The bundles of muscle in the wall.
Trabecular carne.
Carne asada?
Trabecular carne.
No?
Oh, trabecular carne.
Trabeculae carne. And then the ridges up here in the atrium.
Pectinate.
And this little group of cells here.
SAO.
Mhm. And there's another little group down here. For AV, yeah, the 100's just below it. And here are the 98's right on it. If you look inside, there's a big blue dot at the bottom. What would that be? Inferior vena cava. And then a smaller blue dot right next to it, coronary sinus. So inside, bottom of the right atrium, big blue dot and a small blue dot. And then of course up at the top, another big blue dot.
Superior vena cava.
So those are your three main tributaries to the right atrium. And then these smaller ones.
Anterior veins.
Mhm. And this structure out here. Mhm. Or you could say auricle of right atrium. Bottom here.
Apex.
This valve that has three cusps right here.
Semilunar. Aortic.
So if I put it back down,
Pulmonary. There you go.
Pulmonary.
Pulmonary.
So
Aortic's coming up from the other side.
anterior is pulmonary semilunar valve, and then just behind it, aortic semilunar valve. About this one here.
Right.
The blue.
Right.
Pulmonary artery.
Which pulmonary artery?
Right. Right.
Right. Mhm. And then you can see the right again over here, and you can see the left over here.
Where's the right?
Mhm. So the trunk is really short. It goes from there to there.
It kind of goes over, yeah.
Good?
Ligaments and arteries.
What about the hair
Yeah, I do.
spouts?
Yeah.
So easy. Love it. There's 4 vessels. The red is
Hepatic, common, or hepatic proper.
hepatic artery proper, hepatic proper artery. Either is fine. The white,
Hepatic portal vein.
hepatic portal vein. Portal system refers to the first capillary bed, the second capillary bed, and then the vein that joins them. So where's the first capillary bed? Or beds? So think about what the portal system is doing.
Comes from the GI tract, the spleen, and the stomach.
It's taking blood that just went through the intestinal wall, that just picked up nutrients from your meal, and you want those nutrients to go to the liver before anybody else. So you're going from capillaries in the intestinal wall to veins. Which veins?
Inferior and superior mesenteric.
Right, the mesenterics, which empty into a hepatic portal vein, which brings that blood into the liver. So the second capillary bed, or beds, is in the liver. They're called sinusoids. And then after the blood goes through the sinusoids, it gets collected into central veins, and they all converge to form the veins that empty into the vena cava. And those are called
Hepatic veins.
hepatic veins. Right, so there's lots of them that connect the liver to the vena cava.
On that list, there is like, it says like right and left, hepatic vein.
I thought I took that off. Yeah, there is no left and right. There's just a bunch of them.
So this just would be one of them, right?
Yeah. If you put right or left, it's fine.
The one there is hepatic.
Yeah. Or veins that are emptying into the hepatic veins. The red, those are all branches of hepatic artery proper, and they don't have any other special. The veins, probably the same. I don't know of any name for them, but they all converge to form the hepatic veins. And then the fourth vessel is just this one. Yeah. So which blood is going into the liver? And? So artery proper and hepatic portal, that blood's going in. And they mix together and go through the capillaries. And then leaving the liver is the blood in the hepatic veins. Done? Tree?
This one's really bad.
Well, let's see what we can do with it.
And it goes into the
You can see it doesn't have a loop
It
for
doesn't
the
go directly
stomach.
inside the liver.
Hepatic vein, hepatic portal.
Hey. Can you send me that video of the treats at the bottom?
I'll see if I can. Might be big.
The blue one here,
Superior mesenteric.
and here,
Inferior mesenteric.
and the red one here,
Inferior mesenteric artery.
and the red one here.
Superior mesenteric artery.
So these tend to run close together, and these tend to run close together. And then these two over here,
Green.
splenic artery and vein. And then the blood that's in the inferior mesenteric, where does it go next?
The splenic veins.
You kind of have two choices depending on the person. So the most common version that you see on these models is inferior mesenteric vein empties into splenic. And And once they come together, it's still called splenic until it meets up with superior mesenteric. And when splenic and superior mesenteric meet up, they form hepatic portal vein, which continues to the liver. And then the other version is inferior mesenteric empties into hepatic portal. So it meets up with superior mesenteric and splenic, and all three meet up together. And it's the pancreas model over there that has that version. This one? Radial.
Ulnar, brachial, axillary, subclavian.
And blood in the subclavian comes from. So this is left side. So it comes off aortic arch. And then on this side, the red is.
Subclavian,
And blood in the subclavian here goes into
brachiocephalic,
brachiocephalic trunk or artery. Oh, am I going backwards?
Yeah,
I have
I mean,
veins in my head, huh?
yeah.
You meant
So-
where it came from.
Yeah. So subclavian artery, left, where did the blood come from?
From the iron part.
Aortic arch. And right subclavian artery, where did the blood come from?
Brachiocephalic,
Brachiocephalic trunk or brachiocephalic artery is fine. And the other branch that comes off of brachiocephalic artery? Mhm. Whereas left common carotid comes off aortic arch. From here to here. First branch off of it,
cephalic,
and this branch off of it,
brachial,
and this branch off of it,
basic,
and in the middle here, median antebrachial. Because this one goes down the middle of the forearm. You're looking for one that comes across the front of the elbow for cubital, and it's not on here. And back here, and back here, and the loop in the front here, superficial palmar arch, and then just below it,
deep,
and then the arches over here are called venous arches. This vessel here,
great saphenous,
and up here,
small saphenous,
and right here,
popliteal,
and then this branch,
anterior tibial,
and here,
posterior tibial,
and here,
posterior tibial, fibula,
and then over here,
femoral into popliteal,
this one,
anterior tibial artery,
right, and then this one,
posterior tibial artery,
and
posterior tibial,
still posterior tib, and
fibular artery.
so this kind of Y here is identical on both sides. So it's posterior tib, fibular, posterior tib, fibular. And then coming out anteriorly, above where fibular comes off, anterior tib, and then same thing over here, coming off anteriorly. So other than the saphenous, it's pretty similar. Mm-hmm. Here. So what are these?
Vertebral,
And then that midline vessel they form? Basilar. And this one?
interrotted,
Uh-huh. And this branch? And the very end of it? Mm-hmm. It's either this or both, but it's the very last branch. This one?
External jugular, internal jugular.
I would say this is probably occipital. And this is probably occipital. But I don't usually use this for the details. I like it for the big stuff. So limbs are good on here. Abdominal region's good.
What about the zygus and the...
Chest, neck's good. Oh yeah, backside. This is the best model for this one. So this part I'm holding is below the diaphragm.
Ascending lumbar vein.
Which?
Right.
And over here.
Left ascending lumbar.
And then above the diaphragm.
Azygus. Hemiazygus.
No, that's azygous.
Azygos. So hemi empties into azygos. Azygos continues and empties into superior vena cava.
Where's the hemiazygous accessory draining into?
So these, over here, subclavian, and here, I think it's also subclavian.
So it's coming from subclavian going into, or
Going into, because, yeah, veins. Coming up and into subclavian, and then from there into brachiocephalic, and then into vena cava. The accessories.
the book said something different. That's why I was confused. And then Jeff told me something else.
And they're probably all right.
Okay.
Because you get a lot of variation with veins in particular, and there can be a bunch of accessories. And so they could connect anywhere from, the superior vena cava to a branch that feeds into it. Brachiocephalic, subclavian, internal jugular, anywhere in between.
Okay, it said azygous. The hemiazygous accessory drains into the azygous.
It does.
Hemiazygous does. I wouldn't doubt there's accessories that do as well, but on this model they don't have any.
But you want us to label the hemiazygous accessory, right? You want us to be able to...
Not on here. I'd stick with the book for that one.
The picture?
Because the accessory is so variable. It's like different on every model, so I'll use the book
Okay.
for accessory.
Okay.
But just hemiazygous, azygous, this is good. Since this one doesn't have the loop for the gastrix, we'll use a different one. Look for a circulatory tree that has a full loop.
When you're labeling the fibers, you just go in smaller ones than the bunches.
Yeah, the frequency fibers like do come out the side of the
Okay. It's like the axons.
The one that you know, the one that
These are all the frequencies. They're all muscle. This is the azygous that's there.
Grab the liver up there. The one on the left, though. Yeah. All right, so you have celiac trunk, and then you have the 3 branches. All right, so what's that small branch that comes kind of straight out and then starts to turn? Left gastric. And then this branch to the right of celiac trunk? Common hepatic artery. And then the branch that comes off of common hepatic artery?
Right gastric.
And comes this way? Right. So that completes that loop. And so when you grab the stomach, the ones to the left of that green tray, could you grab a stomach? Yeah, and a pancreas?
yeah, it's not no, there's a different model than
You can catch the loop on this one. So the loop is here. This is half of it.
There's this one right here. It's better loop right here, Professor. I think this one's better at first.
Thank you. So it sits like this. So on this side it has the number 10, this is part of left, and then on this side it's got a number 11.
Right.
Right. So you have the left and right. They come together on the stomach. And you can see the same thing here, but the branches are broken. So this one is,
Yeah.
so here's celiac trunk, common hepatic, and then the small branch off of common hepatic.
That's the right gastric.
Do you share or you don't share the rest?
Which one?
Right gastric.
Right. And then once right comes off, the rest of this,
Hepatic proper.
hepatic artery proper. And then the broken branch here off of celiac trunk is right, left, right, right, it's left. And then the left and the right, they make that loop.
But then when like all this one, I have never had to do.
How about the artery coming off here goes down, and you see it come out down here.
Superior mesenteric.
And the vein next to it.
Superior mesenteric vein.
And this one up here. Mm-hmm. And here.
Inferior mesenteric.
And here.
Splenic.
And then they come together here. And then splenic continues to there, meets up with superior mesenteric, and then forms hepatic portal.
You wouldn't use this one to label for inferior mesenteric, would you? Okay.
I would actually want one instead of a stump.
I know. But he points it out every once in a
that
while.
one too.
Cool if someone like did this for the whole class and really just mentioned it, like on a shaking camera.
And then put on YouTube for us, yeah.
Yeah. I throw down like $10 for that.
Sounds like you have some
Times all of us.
10 times like 30 people would be a good deal.
So, celiac trunk, and then the broken branch, left gastric, and then this part,
common hepatic.
common hepatic, and then the little branch that comes off,
Right gastric.
right gastric.